Hmm. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Monday, March 27th pregame show. If you're just tuning in to a later recording, we'll actually get started with the real show in about 9 minutes. So it's about 5:30 down here. I guess you can't see the bottom right because my face is in the way. But yes, about 9 minutes from now, so you can skip ahead to that. And then we'll get into the real meat and potatoes of it. For the next 9 minutes, I'm going to be just chatting and warming up a little bit. Hey, Bixley, how you doing? Okay. So, you guys have a good weekend? Obviously, I'm back. Lori's still going to be out of town, away. I think to the end of this week. So I'll be doing the next few days. Then Dan will be jumping in. I think Thursday, Friday. So we'll see how it goes. But I like any opportunity I can to do live streams. So we're gonna have fun together. All right. So before we get started, say hello to everybody. What did Nightbot deleted a message already? Andre Nightrock, hey buddy. Tess Robbins, the Samwise. I know I saw Topher in there. Hey buddy. Bixley, we saw Carlos, Bask, and Lou. Lori grew a beard. Ha! Sure did. Fernando Andre, how are you? Am I watching? Of course I'm watching Picard. It's probably the greatest season of almost any show so far. You have to admit it's like if you don't, I don't care if you don't like Star Trek. This is just a phenomenal. It's a gift to us Trekkies, and I'm loving it. It's fantastic. Um, okay, I got time for a couple requests. Lori is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. She's got some family stuff she's taking care of, so she'll share that when she comes back if she wants to. I'll leave it for her. But yes, Lori herself is a-okay. Yeah, any chart requests? Happy to take a look at a couple of those. You can't see me. I'm positive you can. Let me help out my friend here. Please refresh. Whoa, that's not how you type refresh. You should be able to see me, right? Y'all can see me, my face in the screen. Haven't seen Picard 3 yet. A 7, TS9. Yeah. It's pretty good. Corey Gold wants to look at FRC. Let's warm up this brain. It's a little foggy. I'm not a big fan of the, as you guys know, the 4:30 wake up. It's 5:24. I think I spent the first 20 minutes of the day just staring at the wall, holding my coffee, not actually operating. My roosters got me up at who knows what time. They have a light that goes on in their roost at like 3, and it was not on when they woke me up. So who knows? Okay, we're going to look at FRC. So the important thing to note about FRC is that we have good news for SVB, which is Silicon Valley Bank. They're getting a big chunk of buyout, which is adding some optimism to this disgruntled sector. So what we're seeing here is a pre-market high right now of 1542, or a pre-market level of 1542, and Friday's low down in the 11s. So a lot of potential for some shorts to be a little bit concerned. If anyone who was brave enough to take shorts in this little balancing area, they're going to be looking at a little bit of cause for panic, right? Anytime you have a short position that gaps up, you end up having to cover it. So let's review that real quick. So let's say, I'm going to pretend that you might be brand new to shorting, and I'm going to do my best to explain it. So let's say we're hanging down here in the $12.50 range. Let's just call it $13. And you decide you want to short it. What you do is you borrow shares from me. I lend them to you, and you sell them to somebody else at 13 bucks. And then you assume that the price is going to go down to 11 bucks. And I don't care what you do with my shares. I've lent them to you, right? I know you're going to pay me back somehow. It doesn't matter to me. What you do is you sell them over here, and then you buy another couple at 11.74, and you give them back to me. I don't know the difference. And you've pocketed the $2 difference between those two exchanges. Good, right? If it goes down, solid. You can make some money. Now, the problem is, if it goes against you, I've lent you my shares, you've sold them over here, and now it's up at $16. You still have to pay me back, so that means you end up having to buy shares at $16 to give me my shares back. That can be a problem when it happens in mass. So, anyone who's looking to, or who has entered a short on this guy, let's see, since basically Thursday, is underwater. And anyone else who entered a short up here is reconsidering their position. So what that means is we can get a period of like amplified response where everyone who wants to go long, because let's say you and me, we're really excited. We think that now's a good time to get into the banking sector because we have had a big sell-off of fear, and now we're going to go back to the mean. So if we go, let's say, where was FRC before all this madness? Over here, hovering around 115 for a while. Cool. Let's assume, and this is an assumption, and it's just for the purposes of explanation, that the price is going to go back up here eventually. Then this is a great deal. Okay, so we have people like you and me who are placing this bet that we're going to go back to the mean. We're going to be adding to the buying pressure, and we've got ourselves people who are needing to cover. Remember, they got to go buy to pay back that buddy that they borrowed those shares from. When those two things come together, we can get some runaway price action, which we call a short squeeze, which can get, frankly, kind of outrageous. Listening to Jason through a tin can. Oh, Lori, I was very confused. All right, so short squeezes. Is it going to happen on this? I got no idea. But I just want to explain to you why we get interested in potential upside in quick ninja-like breakouts of these short squeezes when we have tickers who gap up in really heavily shorted sectors, okay? So that's a little bit of a context behind a potentiality for FRC. And if we go to our pregame levels, yes, let's do that. Let's call them pregame levels. They're no longer pre-market levels, everyone. If you're watching this show, they're pregame levels. 1680 is our pre-market high, and we get a little titch of volatility here, down to 1467. So we're going to be paying attention. Oh, that happened to everybody. 8 o'clock. Go over to a SPY. You can see that same thing right around there. So a little bit of, that's exactly the sound it made when it happened. I'm not paying too much attention to the low. That is more a reaction to like just settling prices. But 1678, 1680, 1675, clear area of resistance for the pre-market bulls. Now, bulls on the regular trading hours, and we're going to start in 2 minutes here. This is a long explanation. Need to get over 1680. Then you break that pre-market high, and then we're going to look for bulls to apply the pressure. If you're going to be playing a little bit cautious, you don't necessarily want to jump into the first move, that's fine. That's a smart idea. You're going to wait for a little bit of consolidation. Wait for a 5-minute uptrend. Wait for our market to show some strength. And then you can look for some long entries. Right now, 1227 is our area of support. And that's a big old range for FRC. Keep an eye on your XLF, okay? Your bot keeps stopping you out. Talk about the trade keeper. All right. All right, we got a minute left here. Let's make sure. Is audio low? How's the audio, guys? Is my audio low today? It's hitting all the right registers. My voice is going into the yellow. On my end, it all looks good. Should be all right. Cool, cool. All right, let's get started. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Lori's pregame show. Lori's listening through a tin can deep in the woods of Louisiana right now. But because her tin can only goes in one direction, I'm covering for her. She'll be back, hopefully, at the end of the week. But as you've seen, she's alive and well, unless that's me typing and faking it. Who knows? Hey, do you got Twitter? I do. Come check me out. We got at Chart Guys Jason. You can get some cool videos. I do these every morning. My friend John, who's helping me with those, is no longer with us. It sounds funny. He's off to, I was going to say greener pastures, but that's no better. He is no longer working with the Chart Guys for now. So I'll be trying to figure out what tickers to share with you guys in the morning. He was a great help. Every morning he would send me a little report and ticker and some levels. And I got to make these fun videos. So thank you, John, for all the work that you did. If you happen to be listening, it's going to be hard to do that without you, but we're going to give it a go. Yeah, follow me on Twitter at ChartGuysJason. And this is the pregame show for March 27th. I feel warmed up. I feel good. Let's get started. We're going to take a look at our major indices today. We're going to check out RQQ and SPY, the dollar, the VIX, oil, nat gas, gold, Bitcoin, and get ready for the morning. All right. So first things first, we're going to take a look at the NQ. So we have seen a quick flush this morning, and we have seen the hourly bulls pouring it on, but really ultimately, overall, we are in balance. So if we go back for the last few days, we almost have this equilibrium. So going back to the high of Wednesday, a low, lower high, let's call it a double bottom, okay? So you're going to have to work with me on this one because, yes, technically we did get a lower break with no follow through. That's fine. But we have this range that we are playing with. So I did actually get you some levels on the weekly time frame. Here we go. Let's look at those first. NQ, you can screenshot that if you need to. A lot of these are very tight and very similar because the hourly and the 4-hour and sometimes the daily levels are very, very close together. And that's important because we need to start picking a direction here on the daily time frame. You can go back on the YouTube if you need to get those levels again, but you can see how we're shaping up on the daily. Notice this weekly trend. We talked about this in the weekly wrap-up. So we have a consistent area of resistance. We're going to be watching for breakouts into that area of resistance. And as you can see on the daily time frame, we've spent some time above that. But ultimately, we're pulling back because there is some calculated linear resistance up in that range. And we would be daily overbought if we got back up in there. So multiple factors looking for some pullback. So that's not to say the bulls can't get up there this week or today. It just means that there's going to be a lot more weight looking for consolidation if we happen to get up there. All right. So daily time frame, overall a little bit of sideways. On the 4-hour time frame, sideways. And then we get into the hourly, we can see that balance that we are looking at. So we've got another little lower high here. Bulls need to break 12,984.50 in order to get continuation. And then we have resistance at 13,031, 13,082, a lot of overhead, then our trend line area resistance overall, all right? What we need to do is have the regular trading hours markets push up and hang out over the 12,984 in order to establish a 4-hour higher low here. Right now, the most likely outcome is continuation inside this balance, in which case we're going to be looking for bulls to push down below and push down to and break below 12,848. Ultimately, what I'm telling you is a choppy market without a lot of direction on the 4-hour, hourly, or even the daily time frames going back to Thursday. So just be cautious. Don't get too chopped out. Wait for the market to pick a direction for you. And look to specific sectors for directions, okay? NQ in balance. Going over to our ES weekly time frame, here's some levels for you. Go ahead and screenshot those bad boys. Weekly time frame, we have not done a heck of a lot either, have we? On the daily time frame, we have not really done a heck of a lot either. Trying to establish just meager daily higher lows, but ultimately we have this 40.8250 area of resistance. We talked about why that's important last week, so go back and watch the weekly wrap-up. Hey, let's plug that. I've been doing a weekly wrap-up show every Friday afternoon, right before, an hour before close or so, where we look at the big picture for essentially what we're doing here, plus some individual stocks for ticker requests. And we talk about why that 40.82 level is important. All right, so go back and watch that if you want to. On the 4-hour time frame, we've got a 4-hour higher low. Our ES futures are looking a little bit stronger than our NQ, just because NQ did a lot of the heavy lifting the week prior or the days prior. Now we're in balance. So ES in a way is catching up a little bit here. On the hourly time frame, our resistance is 40.39, and our 4-hour and our daily is 40.7375. So bulls putting in the work pre-market. We're going to look for an hourly higher low and any weakness, and then we're going to look for bulls to break above their pre-market high and just find some level of comfort up there. Notice how we just clipped into 15-minute overbought. Now we're hitting our EMA 12. This is a nice place to form this little bit of a bull flag. So we're going to be looking for bulls to launch and maintain over 40.3375. As far as our SPY goes, our key levels, let's go look at the hourly time frame. We want to get bulls over Friday's high. Nay. Thursday's high of 399.22. We're close to that level. Our 50-minute little bull flag equivalent. Remember, we're looking at ES here, little 50-minute bull flag. Now there it is in our pre-market levels, minus the volatility. Anytime you have the opportunity, you should be watching the futures charts. You can use SPX 500 USD if you want to not have to pay for these futures levels. They're pretty close. 399.29. We're looking for bulls to hold over that level on SPY. QQQ, a little bit of a daily inside bar, but we know the deal. We know we have cash markets looking to open above that daily inside bar, which sort of negates that sentiment of balance. But we're looking for 314.15, which is a high Thursday. Looking for bulls to get to and break over that level. So got a little bit more work to do on the NQ side of things again. NQ did the heavy lifting last week. Let's see if SPY can do some this week. Let's check it out. Loud and clear. I figured. All right. So those are our NQ and our ES levels. Both of them pretty much in balance. ES, bulls have a little bit of an advantage. What I don't want to see is a move up and then right back down. Then we're going to be looking for more chop. YM. So last week, these YM and the Russell were looking a little bit weaker overall. The weekly time frame, not so great. We have EMA 12 and 26 overhead, and we are heading in that direction. If we go, yeah. So we can use the high of last week for a rough estimate of where our two EMAs are converging together. That means we have a daily resistance and we have weekly EMA resistance at the 32,994 level. If the bulls manage to get up there this week, we'll be paying attention to those levels. 4-hour time frame, nice little V shape, nice little bounce off of EMA 12. And now we're going to be looking for bulls to hit resistance here. So notice that we're correlating pretty closely with ES level on the 15-minute time frame. Our NQ very close by, and our YM, they all have clear little short-term areas of resistance. We need the bulls to find acceptance, meaning we need them to get over and happily trade above that level to really feel good about moving on later in the day. If we cross those levels and pull right back down, we're going to be looking the other direction to try to find some support, because we're not going to be overextended, but we're going to be acting as if we're not interested in playing that range. And in fact, we want to play within the range of the previous days, which goes back to, all of this mess. So we've been up here. We don't want to move on. We want to come back and play, which means we'll look for direction down into the lower part of balance. RTY daily time frame. Speaking of balance, there it is. Big daily time frame, sideways chop. Bulls need 1810. A little bit weaker now. And on the 4-hour time frame, we see another little titch of resistance in this very similar fashion. So the RTY's goal is to get over 17. Let's try this again. 1,774.9. You did it. Holy smokes. Hourly time frame, right, bouncing off that point of control and up. Bulls need to find acceptance over 1774. And even then, we've got our value area high and our areas of resistance in the 1808 and 18, let's just call it 1800 level of resistance. So room for the bulls to move here, but still a considerable amount of work to manage to get over any sort of resistances. All right, so optimally opened and shaping up okay for bull breaks, but we're going to be cautious about any movements, looking for acceptance. We'll be watching our market internals very closely this morning. Because we are setting up for gap up opens, our ADD is going to be pretty high. We should open pretty high. What we want to do is maintain those levels. We want to see bull volume following through. And if you want to follow these internals, you can go to Vol-D. And if you go to the Chart Guy's website and go to indicators, you can download this for TradingView. It's just a chart template. We give away some chart templates because it's easier to follow along with what we're talking about, right? So we're looking for our ADD to be open high, maintain high. We're looking for our volume to climb up, ideally a little more aggressive than this. And we're looking for our tick just to stay up in the upper range. Well, that would show us that the market in general, the entire exchange, is happily chugging away, buying, and we're more likely to see bulls maintain control if our market internals are screaming happy, healthy, smiley, fun day. All right, so we've checked out our indices. Let's take a look at the dollar. So the dollar broke out of its little downside 4-hour channel that we were watching last week. That's good. On the 4-hour time frame, we see a high, and we're still moving sideways right now, which is giving ES a little bit of optimism, or I should say they are capitalizing on that move. And if we go to our DX, you can see that fall down was at 3 a.m. How was that? 3 a.m. Yeah. All right. So they're still correlating pretty well, but look how much relatively stronger the ES is compared to the DX. So what we're going to be watching for is ideally, we just don't see much movement. I guess that's not ideal. The best case scenario for the bulls would be for the dollar to fall back down to its support levels at 102, but ES is doing well in light of hourly flat action on the dollar. If we happen to see a big breakout on the dollar, we're going to be cautious about any strength in the market because they do tend to trade inversely. So watching the 103.29 and 103.37 level for our dollar to negatively impact the bulls on ES and, well, all the other indices. VIX daily time frame. We lost Friday's low, so we're heading back toward the 20 level. And in the hourly time frame, just hourly lower highs and lower lows. So far, seeing a little bit of steam being let off. A little bit of pressure being released. The Instapot button is being pressed. It's spraying steam everywhere, making a terrible mess. U.S. oil. We saw our wedge last week, broke bare, 66.79, giving us a daily higher low. Bulls bouncing on that nice V shape here. So we've broken over the 773 level. Our next area of resistance is 71.63. I like the hourly time frame, but we're close to hourly overbought. So we can look for 15-minute overbought conditions. We can look for our RSI resistance, which we're at right now. And we're just going to look for bulls to peter out and then set a higher low on the hourly. Over 69.33. Hopefully building out some sort of, well, let's try this a little bit better, a little hourly trend like they have been doing here. Expectations continuation, right? In the absence of anything else, we look for our technical signals to give us most likely outcomes. And then that is 50-minute overbought conditions into consolidation, very much like happened here. Well, I'm not going to say there. That looks a little bit different. Right? We have periods of trend and we have periods of outside influence. Periods of trend is where we can make the most predictable money. Outside influence is what stops us out sometimes. News-related things, mostly news-related things. In the case of gas, Well, it is still news, but inventories, things like that. All right, looking at natural gas here, we see our big old downside channel, best represented on the 4-hour time frame, and we got ourselves EMA 12 and as our area of resistance. We're getting close to 4-hour oversold. Bears don't care too much about that. They've been pushing below oversold conditions pretty well. So if I'm going to be looking for a long position, I'm going to be looking for some sort of 15-minute, 5-minute trend in favor of the bull side. And I'd like to get closer to, ideally, yeah, we just broke that level. Yeah, somewhere down here, just to continue this trend. But ultimately, long positions, you got the entire universe working against you right now. So very cautious on those. Your best bet is to play this longer term short, in which case you're going to be looking for something in the area of 228, looking for downside. Oof, there it goes. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, how are your cows? All right, what oofed? I see no oofs. All right. Man, if I'm getting a cold right now, I'm gonna be upset. Okay, this is interesting. Taking a look at our, we've checked out our 4 indices, right? Oil's seeing a little bit of pop, natural gas is doing its thing. Look at the weakness that we're seeing in gold, and this is relatively interesting as compared to Bitcoin, which we'll get to next. But Bitcoin is holding on to its little volatile happy gains, whereas gold is seeing some pullback. And although gold on the weekly time frame didn't, maybe it did it get to overbought? This is a problem when you push back up and then you close back down. The RSI level cares about where you close, and that's why, again, we calculate our trends on the tops and bottoms of our greens. Let's see, we're doing that here because it's the closes that matter, right? Not the ultimate ranges when we're looking for indicators or patterns. On the 4-hour time frame, we're pulling back. We're not quite oversold. 19, 34, 34, 5 is the support level for gold. So this, in combination with the confidence in the banking sector, with Silicon Valley Bank being bought out, if stability to the financial sector has been restored, that was the catalyst or part of the catalyst for gold's rally. So perhaps we go back to the mean, which on the weekly time frame for gold, it seems to be around the 1810 level, and I'm just arbitrarily looking at horizontal areas. In fact, we don't even need to do that. We have a fancy tool that lets us pick and choose where our levels are. Okay, so hey, that's interesting. I'm glad I did that. Our point of control for all of this action is actually right at that 1934 level. So if bears fall through that level on the weekly time frame, we're more likely to see a daily downtrend develop. Hourly bears are pouring it on. Oversold conditions, it's all about that 1934. So aggressive bulls could look for a higher low into a 4-hour equilibrium. And aggressive shorts are going to be waiting for a break and a lower high and lower low to follow. All right, so balance, setting up possibly for gold, short-term weakness, Bitcoin, not doing much of anything. So just going sideways, which implies a lot of upcoming volatility for Bitcoin. Clear areas of resistance, or perhaps they're not so clear. We've got 4-hour resistance at 28 to 32, and then a series of hourly higher lows. Excuse me, 27 to 184.78. So a little bit of a tightening range, very similar to what our NQ is doing, right? Big hourly chop back and forth, no clear direction, and we know that because our EMAs are bunching together. Bitcoin doing a similar thing here. Our EMAs are crisscrossing. We don't really have a lot of trend direction. And one of the questions I have is how much squeeze do we have? We're squeezing up pretty good. Daily time frame probably not offering us much squeeze yet. Hourly time frame, yep, got a big squeeze again. So there is some squeeze here. We know that because we can see our green dots and we can see that our momentum overall is bullish and then just dipping bearish, but ultimately not a lot of direction. It's these big swings and the absence of it that give us squeeze potential. So here's a little baby squeeze right here, fires off up to the 28,000. Now we're squeezing up again on the hourly time frame. looking for higher lows over 27,690. Litecoin, a little bit of a laggard play here, 4-hour time frame. Got ourselves an equilibrium. This one's a little bit more perfect, 90.04 and 94.92. Looking for volatility again there. Do you think we get a pullback in Bitcoin if banks stabilize? I don't know. I don't think the people who buy gold are the same people who buy Bitcoin. I think it's like grandpas versus grandsons. You know what I mean? I've got no idea. Let's see. I think that's more or less we've covered it. Yeah, Anaconda squeeze. I think we actually did our coverage on 20 minutes on time today. Pretty impressed with myself. Usually I spend 20 minutes talking about nothing. Okay. Yes, 2-minute time frame, sideways action. We're just waiting for that market to open. We got about 40 minutes before that happens. Keeping a close eye on our XLF today, our FRC, coin, daily inside bar, pre-market 67.80. That could be a good one. We want to open under that level and break 67 or 68.73. Now give us a daily bull break here. Us and Gen Xers. You know what? I'm old enough that there are generations below me now, but I often forget that I am not. Is this the plague of everyone? We forget we're not 20 anymore. Yeah. As you can see, I may be above 20. Okay. Keeping a close eye on FRC today for some volatility. Keeping an eye on coin for the daily inside bar bull break. If Bitcoin goes sideways, that's going to be good for coin. And coin, this drop is largely caused by that SEC news. So as that gets absorbed and resorbed and moved around, we have that potential for the market just not to care anymore. And we'll still be looking for Bitcoin and crypto stability. So watching for that bull break of 68.73, and then our target for that is going to be the high 70 and beyond, because look, we don't have any resistance there. FRC potential squeeze here. Resistance on the daily time frame is up at 1949. And then I'm also going to be watching Tesla. You can call these your queen of the mountains if you want. They're just what I'm watching for volatility. We had Tesla on the daily time frame, hourly time frame, big areas of resistance, 186.22. Multiple tops here. We saw balance. We saw bulls break up. We saw ourselves get our descending wedge. We talked about all of this on Friday, and this is a general reversal pattern, and we usually see upside to follow. And now on the pre-market level, we are peeling away from that level. So on any sort of weakness, I will be looking for higher lows above 187.15. I'm going to be looking for bulls to continue to apply pressure because we are way above the zone of control now with a reversal pattern. So paying attention today to Tesla for upside volatility, coin for an inside bar bull break, and FRC for unknown directional volatility. But it's going to be a lot of fun any way we slice it. All right, that's it for me today. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Again, follow me on the Twitter. I'm going to post a video here in about 20, 30 minutes or so. Probably Tesla. So I like that setup. And I'll be live for the midday show in about 3 hours. So that'll be on the Twitch and on TradingView. All right. Have a great morning, everyone. See you soon.